Hey guys, and welcome back to my pregnancy diary. If you've been following along, you notice that I have not posted. So if you're looking for week 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, or 19, they don't exist. This is just gonna be like all of them together. I do want to apologize. I said that I would make a video each week, and that was my intention, but you know how we get super busy as moms, which shouldn't be an excuse, but it is an excuse for me right now because I also like closed on a home with my husband and we moved. I'm in a new house. I think in my last video I told you guys that I was getting ready to move. Well, we moved. We've been in the process of renovating the house. So if you look at like my YouTube shorts, you could see a little bit of what we've done so far. Excuse me. But yeah, so between moving, renovating, like being all over the place, because we literally like ripped up the floors, like we're painting, like changing everything in the home we bought to make it ours. And so it's just been a lot, and long days, late nights. I slept at my mom's house a couple times. Okay, now hang on. Yeah, so I've literally been all over the place. Like my clothes are in bags still. I haven't even gotten a chance to unpack my clothes. And so yeah, it's just been a lot, and that is why I have not kept you guys up to date, but I'm here. I have posted on my TikTok like short clips. I just haven't had a chance to sit down and make a longer video. So if you've been following me on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube shorts, you might know what's going on. So last time we talked, I was 13 weeks pregnant. So I have a notebook here with some notes. So if you see me looking down, it's just because I want to make sure I'm filling you guys in on everything, just in case there's any mamas out there who are going through a similar type of pregnancy as me. Okay, so last time we talked, I was 13 weeks pregnant. I told you guys about the possibility of Down syndrome or something. And so my doctors were sending me in to get a different testing done. And I denied the microarray testing. That was the one test that I didn't go forward with getting, but only because my insurance didn't cover it, and I didn't want to pay for the test out of pocket, because at this point I felt like whatever, like I heard the baby's heartbeat, I am in this positive place where I'm saying my prayer every day, and I'm like trusting this baby to God and just keeping the faith. Like, thank you, God, for letting me have a healthy, happy, God-fearing, fully developed, full-term baby. That's what I say every day, multiple times a day. And so I didn't opt for that test. So I'm going into my 14-week visit. I go in alone because, again, COVID. You have to, if you bring anyone with you, you have to show a negative, they have to show a negative COVID test within the past 72 hours. But around here, if you're not showing symptoms, then your insurance doesn't cover it. You have to pay for it out of pocket. And so we did pay for one out of pocket, but we don't want to keep paying $150 every time I have to go to the doctor. So I went alone. I'm in my positive spirits. I go in, I'm like, this baby is great. And the doctor's like, so you denied the microarray testing? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, do you understand what's like going on? Like, did the genetic counselor and everyone explain to you what's happening with this baby? And I was like, well, they said that trisomy 13, 18, 21, and Down syndrome, and the double chromosome, and all the tests they took so far came back negative. So I was like, so I'm good, the baby is good. She's like, no. She's like, the only thing that can completely rule out everything is the microarray testing. So I was like, what was the point of me going through all these weeks of testing if they don't mean anything? She was just like, they're like preliminary tests, but you still need the microarray. Like, she was pushing for the microarray. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll go home and talk to my husband again. And then she was like, there's definitely something wrong with this baby. These were her words verbatim. She's like, your baby has a cystic hygroma, and the nuchal translucency is too thick for a baby this age. And so immediately I started getting upset again, because first off, cystic hygroma, this is a new word, and nobody in the past couple weeks have said that to me. I know when I did look up like nuchal folds and stuff like that, that on Google it said that a cyst is possible, but nobody had said that to me before. So she's like, yeah, your baby has a cystic hygroma, and that's what's causing the nuchal fold to be enlarged. So I left that appointment sad, feeling like I had to get the microarray testing, feeling like there was no point in taking any of the tests before. Like, just very, very down. And then it took me a couple hours to get back into like my positive affirmation prayer, like, you got this, mama mode. But I was like, you know what? No. Like, I know this doctor is trained in medicine, but my baby is fine. That's what I just kept saying. My baby is fine. Tom, this baby is fine. Like, I did go home. I broke down. I screamed and cursed and cried. And Tom was just like, and at that doctor appointment, she did ask me if I want to keep my baby or not. Like, what my plans were. And I was like, why would I not keep this baby? I have love to give, and that is all that matters. And I did not think about harbor on the, whatever the word is, on the fact that this baby could have a problem, because she said there's definitely something wrong with my baby. And that's not words you want to hear, especially when you want a baby, especially when you've had 2 miscarriages previously. Like, that's just, it wasn't nice to hear. It was very hard to hear. It was a very emotional day for me, emotional front half of the day. And then the second half, I was just like, this baby's here to stay. This baby is fine. And I went back to thanking God. So that was week 14. So for the next couple days, it was like a mental battle, like, just like, because, you know, you have thousands of thoughts, millions of thoughts going through your mind each day, and her voice coming back into my head and echoing, and me having to be like, no, stop. There's nothing wrong with my baby. Like, you might think there's something wrong with my baby, but I am the one carrying this baby. I am the one feeling this baby, living this pregnancy, creating this baby. And one thing that my dad had told me, and it was funny because I also listened to Pastor Mike Todd from Transformation Church, And at the same time, like my dad had said this, like Pastor Mike was talking about crazy faith and imagining that week. And my dad was like, is really big on the law of attraction. And I might have already talked about this in a previous video. Nala, please sit down. Sorry. We're like all cooped in one room right now because the other rooms aren't finished. So if you hear background noise, it's just my baby playing. But yeah, my dad was like, he's like, you are made in God's image, so you can create in God's image, and you can imagine each like piece of the baby being made perfectly. And then Pastor Mike was talking about imagining things and then believing for it. And then the church I attend every Sunday, I do miss some Sundays, but the church my local church that I attend, right on, like when you walk in, it says believe for it right on the wall behind the pastor. So I have all these people telling me to imagine, believe, keep the faith, and like create, like in my mind, see it first. And so when her voice was coming up, I was like, no. And I was just envisioning my healthy baby just walking around, just playing, just talking, just doing all things that Nala did, like when she was a baby, just reimagining it. So week 14 was a lot of back and forth in my head and like a mental battle, I would say. And then I went into week 15 and I was like, every freaking doctor appointment that I've been to for this baby has been like a Debbie Downer. I need some good news. So I go in for my ultrasound, and I have a new nurse doing the ultrasound, and she's confused. She's like, so how big was the nuchal fold or nuchal translucency? Did they tell you? Like, and because she's looking around, and I guess everything to her isn't matching up to what she was told to look for. So then I was like, well, can you tell me like what's going on? Like, and she was just like, the doctor will come in and talk to you. I'll take a swig of my water. There's literally like a drop. She was like, the doctor will come in and talk to you. And so that she leaves, the doctor comes in and he does a little ultrasound thing. He's very quiet. And then he looks at me and he goes, everything seems exactly how it should be. Everything looks exactly how it should be. And I was like, I immediately was like elated. I was like, sir, I need you to know that was a lot of prayer. And he was like, it looks normal. And he was like, and all your tests so far, except for the Noonan syndrome tests, have come back negative so far. And he's like, we're still waiting on those results. But he's like, I feel very good. Like, this is very reassuring. And I was like, yes, it is. I have a lot of people praying for me. I was like, this is amazing. And the best part about that day was this happened at 1 p.m. So I, again, with my ultrasounds, one person can come with me. So my husband can normally come with me. But at 1 p.m., we were closing on our house. So he was in one city closing on our house. I was like 40 minutes away getting the ultrasound. So the night before, I didn't sleep because there was just so much anxiety, because we were like, what if something goes wrong when we're closing on the house? Like, not we were like, but like, you in the middle of the night, all these thoughts come in. So what if something goes wrong? What if like they tell me something's like wrong with the baby again? Like I need like a peace of mind, and I'm trying to battle all these thoughts, but it was just hard. And you know what? Sometimes that's okay. Like sometimes you don't always have the strength to power through your negative thoughts. But that's why like just keep people in your circle that will be praying for you even when like you're not praying for yourself, or keeping the strength for you even when you're not keeping it for yourself. And so week 15 was amazing because I got a new house and I was told everything looks good. And so I was like on cloud 1000. Week 16, I had no doctor's appointments, but my birthday was during week 16, and I was like, the one thing I want for my birthday is to feel consistent movement from the baby. So I had started feeling like little movement, but it would happen like once a day, and then it'd be like, it wasn't consistent enough. It was like, you would psych yourself out, like, was this it? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. And literally on my birthday in the morning, like, I had that thought, and then right after that I felt 3 kicks. So yeah, by week 16 I was having consistent movement, which was really exciting, and the baby was kicking hard enough and consistent enough where I was able to put my partner's hand there, and like he could like you felt it. The baby's like a strong little kicker. So week 15 and 16 were just super exciting for me. Stressful because I remember I'm still moving, like literally moving, and packing, and like running to Home Depot at all hours of the day, and it was just a lot. But it was amazing, like pregnancy wise. Week 17. So at week 17, I finally got the phone call about the Noonan syndrome. My genetic counselor called me. This call was like 2 weeks late. Like the test wasn't supposed to take this long to get the results that it got. So at week 17, she called me, and she said that my Noonan syndrome test came back negative, which was extremely exciting because Noonan syndrome, if you guys remember, that was like a concern for whether there was like a heart problem, and sometimes there's like deformities. You can look it up. You could like Google deformities that come along with that, but their major concern was for the baby's heart. But from the testing that they ran, and as I'm sitting here talking about the baby's heart, the baby's kicking, it came back negative. And so I really just want to say that this was all like the prayer, like it was God's work. So at week 17, I also had another prenatal appointment. I've had more prenatal appointments than normal because they had labeled this pregnancy as high risk. So at week 14, when I went in and she was talking about the cystic hygroma and telling me there was definitely something wrong with my child, at that point she labeled this pregnancy high risk. She told me that I probably would need to see new doctors, like change practices, because if my test results came back showing something high risk, they weren't equipped to handle a high risk baby. They don't have a NICU at their hospital. Like it was, week 14 was scary. Like I said, traumatic. It was just a horrible visit for me. So fast forward to week 17, I'm just seeing my doctors more consistently because there's so much testing going on, and they want to keep tabs on everything. At week 17, I walk in the office and my doctor is like, I've never seen a cystic hygroma just disappear the way your baby's cystic hygroma disappeared. And I was like, she's like, I don't know how this is happening. And I said, well, it's prayer. Like, that's God. Like, I have a lot of people praying for me, and I'm praying every day. But my husband was like, well, maybe they got it wrong. And then I had to remind him that this fun pregnancy, the practice I go to, they don't do ultrasounds in their office. So when I'm checking in for like my prenatal visits, they're just listening to the heartbeat and reviewing documents and measuring my stomach, stuff like that. Well, they haven't measured my stomach yet, but like they listen to the heartbeat, they talk about stuff, take my weight, check my blood pressure. That's what they do there. I am sent to a totally different practice, a practice they partner with for ultrasounds. Because for my first ultrasound, I went to just like a place that does ultrasounds in Middletown, which is like an hour away from where my prenatal doctors are. And they're the ones who originally found the nuchal fold issue. And from Middletown, my regular doctors called me and they're like, there's an issue. In the following week, you have to go to Poughkeepsie, which is like 45 minutes like away from my regular doctors. And it's the place I go to for my ultrasounds consistently now is in Poughkeepsie. It's a doctor who's like known for like maternal fetal medicine and like very, very like established or like good at his job. Like he's a high profile doctor, I guess you would say. And it's his practice I go to just for ultrasounds and genetic counseling. And then his office relays the information back to my doctors. And then my doctors have like the in-depth conversations with me. So there's no way that two different places would have... Okay. There's no way that two different places would both be finding the same thing. And every time I get an ultrasound, I'm sitting there watching them too. So I saw them take the measurements. I saw the thickness. I saw what they saw. And the last time I went in for an ultrasound, it wasn't the same. So like my doctor said, she's never seen a cystic hygroma disappear. But I knew it could happen because when after week 14, I went home, I typed in, I know they say you're not supposed to Google things, but I do Google things. And I went on Google Scholars, and I think it's called Google Scholars. And I typed in like studies of them disappearing because I was like, I need to like I need to envision it. I need to see the success stories. And there was a study with 100 women who all had something similar like me, like the thickened nuchal fold, and 20 of those women, I believe it was 20, at the end of the study, they followed all these pregnancies, and out of the 100, only 20 of them like just magically their babies just magically went to normal. And none of the doctors, it was inexplainable. None of the doctors were able to explain what happened. And I was like, those were probably the 20 women praying. And I was like, I am going to be one of those 20 women. And so here I am. And so that was week 17. And And now I am currently 19 weeks pregnant. I had an ultrasound 2 days ago. And again, the doctors checked very thoroughly. They're like, everything still looks the same. Like, everything is still normal. And they're like, and all your tests are still negative. And they're like, and this is amazing. But they are sending me for a fetal echogram, I think it's called, for me to check the baby's heart just as a precaution, because they're in disbelief, basically. Like, because of what they saw originally and what they're seeing now, it's not adding up. And so they're trying to check all the boxes. So I'm going for an echocardiogram in 2 weeks. I will let you know how that goes. But yeah, that's what's going on. All my tests are negative. Your girl's still praying daily. I gotta go for an echo. And it's not normal that you have an ultrasound every 4 weeks, but I have an ultrasound every 4 weeks because they want to keep an eye on this baby. And I've been going to see, like I said, my prenatal doctors more frequently again because they want to keep an eye on this baby. But everything's good. The baby's kicking, the baby's healthy. During the ultrasound, they're sucking their thumb. I have no new cravings. My belly is getting pretty out there, like to the point where I was shopping at Bed Bath & Beyond for like some stuff for my kitchen. And the lady was like, oh, you have a baby in there. I was like, yep, I do. So people are noticing, like, my stomach's out there. I'm pretty petite and I'm pretty round. The baby is about the size of a zucchini right now. So that's exciting. I think they said, like, during my ultrasound, I think she said the baby's about 11 ounces. Do it quietly. And then some symptoms. So I have a scar under my lip. I've had the scar for like 10, 12 years. But it's getting darker. And I also have a scar on my side because a couple months ago I burnt myself cooking. Like, I reached over the pot dumbly and literally burnt the side of my stomach. And so my scars are darkening. And that might be happening to you as well if you're like this far in your pregnancy. And I read that your scars darken because of the extra estrogen and progesterone. I'm not a doctor. If I said that wrong, oh well. If I said it wrong, just correct me in the comments. But because of the extra hormones in your bodies, your scars will start to darken. Also, the line on my stomach is starting to darken. My belly button is normally an innie. It's like flat. I would show you my stomach, but I haven't found my razors yet. I haven't unpacked them. So I'm like, my stomach is extremely hairy right now. I am not putting that on social media. But my belly button is like literally flat now, and it's like stretched and it's getting darker too. And exciting news, I bought my first pair of maternity jeans. I didn't have to buy any maternity clothes with Nala. I got a couple hand-me-downs, but I was able to wear my normal jeans my whole pregnancy with her. And I just wore the belly band over it. My normal jeans are too tight right now to wear, so I went to Target. They didn't have the greatest maternity selection, but they did have an awesome selection of jeans, I will say. So I bought a pair of maternity jeans and I'm excited to wear them. So yeah, that is everything that's happening with my pregnancy. I I probably am missing something, so if you guys want to comment questions in the comments, I'll get back to you. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to post consistently now. I'm in my second trimester. I'm feeling good. I'm just tired and hungry all the time still, but I'm not throwing up anymore. So that is a win. Like, I've gotten out of like the hurling every day. So I'm extremely relieved about that. And I'm not finding out what the sex of the baby is. I want to just focus on delivering a healthy baby. And then when I have the baby in my hands, I'll let you guys know whether it's a girl or a boy. And yeah, so thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry this was such a long video. I'm sorry that I didn't get to post consistently, but I will keep you guys updated with how the echo goes. Click the subscribe button to stay tuned. Sorry. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram for to see my short little updates as well. All right, guys. Thank you.